Hudson County View live on Uncut. I'm your host, where every day is a holiday. Merry Christmas and jingle all the way, John Arhitis, and the latest and greatest at Hudson County News as we do every week. So today, obviously, we're going to be chatting a little bit about the runoff election in Jersey City's Ward C. Councilman Rich Baggiato making it 3-0. Some actually calling him Runoff Rich from the Team Full Up side. 3-0 in December runoffs, and he defeated Kevin Bigg by a pretty significant margin there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that race. And we're also going to chat now, even though that the 2021 elections just wrapped up, we're already on to 2022, which is quite unusual. But this Bayonne municipal election, for anyone that's been following along, has been looming for many months. And we saw just the other night here that the council president, Sharon Ashton-Drowski's made it official. She'll be challenging Jimmy Davis next year, about 6 months ahead of time. So that's an interesting announcement, and we're going to talk about the implications of that. We're also going to be chatting, of course, about municipal matters. You know, the Jersey City Planning Board advanced the SciTech City, Phase 1 specifically, the Morris Canal Manor projects. This is interesting because this is right after Ward F Councilman-elect Frank Educational Gilmore held a community meeting, and he came out along with other members of the community against these projects. Didn't seem like it had any impact on the planning board. So we're going to talk about what that means going forward. We're also going to talk a bit about CarePoint Health. There's a new bill introduced by State Senator Sandra Cunningham that would require New Jersey Department of Health approval if you wanted to evict a tenant of a hospital. So this is exactly what's going on at the Bayonne Medical Center, because Hudson Regional Hospital is actually their landlord. So we're going to explain what that means and what the bill says. That and a whole lot more right after this word from our sponsors.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Ford made their first all-electric SUV a Mustang. Rapid acceleration, reactive handling, 300-mile range. You control how it feels and how it sounds. It knows you. It dials into your preferred settings. It has an array of driver assist technology. Cameras and sensors enhance your awareness and provide you with additional control. But it's more than cutting-edge technology. It's the spirit of it. It's a Mustang.
Hudson County View live on Uncut, John Arhitis. And today I'm joined with Hudson Media Group producer Pat O'Melia. Pat, always nice to chat with you. Thanks for having me as always.
Fist punch.
So,
Nice place you got here.
Thanks.
I moved your table there because I know I was going to hit it with my knee.
That's fine. So, yeah, let's talk about the runoff. I know you were obviously rooting for the councilman, and he had a pretty good showing. The preliminary totals had up by about 16 points, and it looks after provisionals that number's only going to go up. So what do you think about this result? Anything surprise you about this race?
Well, the thing was, Richie had a constituency. You knew his people were going to come out. Fulop had a constituency. You knew his people were going to come out. So there were two constituencies you could count on, and then the HCDO and the JCDO. Bing didn't have a constituency. You know, he's new to the race, to politics. He was a civic association head, but he never ran a campaign before, so he didn't have anybody he can really bank on. And I think what he put a lot of emphasis on was social media. And, you know, you and I read the same tweets constantly. We're out knocking, we talked to 1,000 people. I don't think that happened. I don't know how much involved he was with the campaign, but I think he may have been led down the wrong road there, thinking he had all the support. When it came out, the Hilltop came out, but Richie. And I think probably everybody east of Journal Square came out for Richie.
Well,
I didn't look at the districts, but I'm pretty sure that's how it came down.
Well, it would appear that Councilman Baggiato has showed that regardless when the election is, he's good for 1,750, 1,850 votes minimum without really, probably I would say without getting off the couch. He worked hard, no doubt, but I think it shows that his base, I think, is larger than some people anticipated, and it just made it really difficult for a first-time candidate to break through.
It's really amazing how hard Richie worked at his age. And this guy, he was out there every day, knocking on doors, meeting the people. He earned the victory. He didn't take anything for granted. He drummed up the support in his constituency and his district, and he won the election. But, you know, you're right. He was out there. You know, he probably out-campaigned Bing. And Bing had, you know, he had 50 years on Bing, you know, or at least 40 at least.
But, you know, to your previous point now, there was, you know, with one of those threads, I mean, there was quite a few of them, there was this notion that even if you do knock on thousands of doors and you do engage, you know, all these voters, they're used to voting for the incumbents, they're used to voting with the machine, the Jersey City Democratic Organization, Hudson County Democratic Organization. So, you know, they were saying that it's almost impossible to break through in one election cycle. What do you think about that possibility?
Well, we've had people win offline before in Hudson County. Philip, he took on Healy years ago, and he won without the support of the HCDO. But he worked, you know, he worked 2 terms as a councilman, and you know he developed his base. You know, Romano won recently, and for Freeholder in Hoboken, he ran against the machine or the organization, whatever you want to call it. It's possible, you know.
But it is
but takes a
exceedingly
lot of
difficult,
work.
yeah.
You know, you see the progressive, they're talking about we got to change the, you know, the columns and, you know, the
Well, they want to get rid of the
organizations.
line, which, I don't know, I don't think that sounds like a bad idea, but I don't think it's going to happen either.
Well, the reason they're asking for that is they probably can't win the way it's set up now. And I can appreciate that, but they got a long way to go before they can force this kind of a change.
Well,
This is how it's been in Jersey.
Yeah,
forever.
no, it's been like this for the beginning of time.
Yeah,
right?
you know, it's been going back, you know, from the Hague days, this is how it was.
Yeah, no, certainly a long history of.
But it's not impossible to beat the machine. It's been done.
Yeah.
Look at Brett Schindler.
Yeah.
You know,
It's uncommon, though.
And he was a
It's-
Republican, no less. But it can be done.
Right.
But I think a lot has to do with the environment, you know, what the economics of the environment is, what's the attitude of the people, you know, with what's going on presidentially. You know, like with Murphy, I think Murphy should have won bigger, but I think there was a Biden effect. I think there's always some sort of effect, even in local politics, in elections.
I'd agree with that.
I'd like to see us go back to May instead of November, where the focus is on
Well, that's an
the
interesting
local.
thought. You know, it would be really something because it looks like next year we're going to probably have a referendum on moving the Board of Ed back to April. Now, you know, subject to change, but it looks like today that's the situation we're heading in. So that would be an interesting dynamic if you had the school board in April, then the municipal in May.
Well, I think if we do the school board back in April, the budget comes up to vote then.
Yeah,
The
it's
people
a
get
public vote on the budget.
Yeah, that would be interesting to let the budget, let the people vote on the budget. And there's a possibility that, you know, Mayor Phillip may again think about an appointed board.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine, and, you know, we could speculate on what the future holds all day, but I would imagine that they're going to do the referendum next year, and then in 23, if that passes, then you might see the appointed board make its way back. But with that said, let's talk about the recent happenings. So,
Was I supposed to press the button on that clock?
I believe so.
We ready for a break yet? You just say when, we can go break anytime you want. Because I'm supposed to be working the timer here.
it's all right.
But we got right into the conversation. So John will just wave his hand, we'll go to break.
All right. So with that, so similarly on the point of the line, we see some people now, there was actually an editorial just last night on my site, a reader talking about that ranked choice voting might be the way to go. And, you know, talking about tradition, these December runoffs always historically low turnout, right? 10%, 12%. I mean, I even remember a couple where it was as low as 8%.
I don't know about historically. We've only been doing it for the last 9 years now, 10 years?
Well-
We're probably coming up into that 10-year cycle where we can possibly move it back to May.
Yeah, But even before that, though, like 60s, 70s, 80s, there were runoffs, right?
Oh, we had runoffs. There was always low voter turnout, even in the governor's race. What was the final number in voter turnout? Was it like 24% or something like that?
I think it's about right,
That's pretty
statewide.
bad. Anybody complaining about the voter turnout there? We always say, well, bad, low voter turnout, but it's low voter turnout all the time.
Yeah, I mean, well, so that's interesting that you say that as well, because we're talking about social media and how, and that editorial also said that social media just doesn't translate to real life, and we've seen that that's often true. But how do you take, that energy on social media, how do you take that energy to the doors and get those average voters, those common voters, uninformed voters, whatever you want to characterize them as, to come to the polls?
I was once told the best way to get someone to vote for you is to ask for their vote. So that's shake the hand, kiss the baby, knock on the door, and ask them, please vote for me on November 2nd, November 3rd, whatever the date is. I just don't think social media, I don't think it's that much of a benefit for a campaign. I think it's still on the sidewalk, shaking hands, knocking on the doors. I just don't think that translates. Because like I had said it last week, that Bing was winning the Twitter election. But that didn't work out on election night.
Right. All right, Pat, just hold that thought. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View Live and Uncut. John Arhitis, and I'm still here with Hudson Media Group producer Pat O'Melia. So, look, it's going to be interesting to see what the future holds in Jersey City.
Running.
Yes,
the countdown is going.
Nice work. Thank you.
The future. What do you want to talk about this?
So the other thing, we're talking about looking ahead a little bit. A lot of people have discussed and are speculating what Mayor Fulop's going to do. At this moment in time, many think he'll be running for governor in 2025 in that Democratic primary. Of course, Phil Murphy will be term limited out, so we're going to see a new challenger from the Democratic side. And interestingly, we saw that Super PAC, Coalition for Progress, spend $25,000 in the Hillside Council and large runoffs. So obviously that's a PAC that's closely linked to the mayor. So it looks like this is already underway in some capacity.
No, Mayor Fulop is a generous person. He's probably just trying to help somebody down there. We're talking about beating the machine. We're talking about beating the organization before in the first segment. You had to talk about Sweeney, who was taken out by really an unknown. And he beat the machine, he beat the organizations and all. So it is doable. Now, looking at Fulop in, 2025? They're already talking about him as probably the leading candidate from the Democratic side. You hear a lot of Mikey Sherrill, and you hear Mayor Fulop. He's off 3 successful wins. Jersey City, you and I argue with him on occasion. We don't agree with everything he does, but he's got Jersey City going in the right direction. Yeah, and the Via bus service he has. You got other municipalities and other cities that are trying to copy that. Everything he's done is being emulated elsewhere. So he's hot right now, and he checks off a lot of boxes this time because he fooled around with it back when it was 2017.
For that
he was
race,
single
yeah.
there. Now he's married. He's got the 2 kids. He's got a good-looking wife. That all works out on the campaign trail. And it worked for JFK with Jackie O. And we got Jackie F. We got the similarities there.
That's one way to put it, yes.
One.
Well, look, I mean, yeah, he's definitely in the mix right now, but we're 47 months away, so we'll see. So with
It's
that,
amazing they're already talking about it. And we didn't even inaugurate Murphy in for a second
didn't even
term
get
yet.
sworn in yet. So
Now, I have a studio in Ocean County, and they're already talking about the next election. We had the thing with Norcross and Sweeney up here months ago. They were already talking about the next election, so
Well, and I think
it's on
that's-
everybody's mind.
I think that's what happened in South Jersey. I think they just looked right past this opponent, and you could see what happens
That
there.
might be.
But So let's move on. Let's stick with again the current events. So let's talk Bayonne. So it's not a secret that the council president was going to jump into this race, but now it's official. They've opened the campaign headquarters. She's filed with ELEC, and I imagine she has something that resembles a team. And we didn't get a formal announcement just yet on Wednesday night. But what do you think about this matchup for May 10th? We're 6 months out.
Again, we talk about constituencies. Sharon, she was elected with Jimmy Davis. She was on his ticket.
In 14 and 18.
Yeah. I think Jimmy had, Jimmy's beloved, Mayor Davis in Bayonne. You never hear a bad word said about him. And it seems like everybody in Bayonne personally knows Jimmy Davis. Not just from politics, and from his days as a cop, from somebody who grew up in the town.
High name recognition,
and
sure.
He's going to be very difficult to knock off. And the organizations are going to be behind him. You can guarantee the unions are going to be behind him. You can guarantee the HCDO is.
He's got 2 labor endorsements already.
So he's probably going to get the ILA. You got Sampson there. So I think in Bayonne, it's going to be a dogfight.
Usually is.
But it's going to be very difficult to knock off Jimmy Davis. Who's the team around Sharon? That's what I'm interested in. Who's behind Sharon?
Yes.
Who's running the campaign?
Well, look, that's a fair point. We don't know too much about Mayor Davis's reelection campaign either. We know that Vision Media is doing the Cobbs, which is no surprise to anybody.
He's already doing the press releases.
Right,
No?
so that's not a shock, and we know that he's got Scorpio Consulting doing his fundraising. That's Layla Sadeghi. But we don't really know where anyone else is involved, if they've been retained, if they're having conversations. I'm sure they're having conversations, but that's all we know really officially. Like Sharon hasn't announced a spokesman or woman. She hasn't announced a campaign manager. I know Rain Casaglio is helping her, and she was a top aide to Assemblyman Travelati. But other than that, I'm not really sure how this is going to shape up. We don't know who's council candidates are going to be.
There's 2 names we're all waiting to hear are they involved. Nick Travelati and Joe DeMarco. Are those 2 involved? I'll almost guarantee they will be.
Well, certainly.
I don't know if it'll be public, but I guarantee that we'll find out as
I'm sure I would bet a very large wager they're already working the back channels, and I would also bet that they are not going to be helping out Mayor Davis this time around. But
no, I think Nick had an issue with Jimmy Davis. I forget what it was. Something happened there.
So there's no love lost there, as you and all of our viewers know. So we're going to see. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm very excited as you are, and I'm sure everyone watching is. These head-to-head matchups, what's going to happen in the first ward, second ward, third ward at large. It's all up in the air right now. I assume that Gary LaPalooza, the third ward rep, will run with Mayor Davis, and I would assume that most incumbents will. But second ward councilman Sal Galais, there's talk he might not seek re-election. So, and at a minimum, he's going to have to replace that at-large seat that Sharon currently occupies. So, and of course, Sharon is likely going to be starting from scratch unless Sal ends up running with her. So the dynamics there are going to be extremely interesting.
She's going to need Sal. She's going to need some real names on that council to knock off Jimmy. But it'll be, it's going to be a fun election to watch because, what we've had in Jersey City the last few times out, we knew what the result was going to be. It was just a matter of how big. Mm-hmm. It will be great to see an election. They're saying it's going to be a war in Bayonne. It will be great to cover that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and I, we cover Fulop, we cover Sacco, we cover Stack. There isn't a lot of guesswork in what the results of those elections are going to be. But here, it is a possibility that Sharon can make it interesting.
She could make it interesting. And again, we don't know what the matchups are going to be. We could do hypotheticals and maybes all day. But, you might get a situation where Jimmy wins in a landslide and Sharon takes the council. You never know. It could go any which way.
Well, you'll be covering it the whole time.
Yeah.
And we'll be here. You're out of time,
All right. Pat, thanks so much. Always a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
I'm going to go work the cameras now.
Not everyone celebrates the birth of a baby. You have options. Don't panic. New Jersey has safe havens for unwanted infants. Leave the baby with staff at any hospital, ER, police or fire station, or rescue squad. Call the number on your screen for safe haven locations or go to www.njsafehaven.org. No shame, no blame, no names. Safe Haven.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union.
I make this look good, don't I?
Who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood
to build things made of wood with, and friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Thank you all for coming here tonight, and it's fantastic to see all of you. And as I said, the last great party I had was years ago when I retired with all the people I worked with, and this is fantastic seeing all of you here tonight. And Mayor, I think you should say a few words.
I just want to say thank you again to everybody who's here. Special thank you to Tom Zuppa for stepping up. John said it best. It's nice seeing such a cross section of people. It really is what Jersey City's about. And I think it's no secret that Rich and I haven't always been on the same page on every issue. But when you talk about Rich Foggiano, you cannot question his love for Jersey City. We share a brotherhood in the Marine Corps. And a love for Jersey City, and I couldn't be more excited to have the privilege of working with him on the city council. So, our current councilman and our future councilman, Rich Foggiano.
Hudson County View, live and uncut, John Arhitis. So obviously you just heard a few brief remarks from Jersey City Ward C Councilman Rich Foggiano, as Pat and I were discussing, elected to his third term on the City Council after the results of Tuesday's runoff came in. And we also heard from Mayor Stephen Fulop. So just briefly, just talking about the particulars of the race. So preliminary tallies from the Hudson County Clerk's Office show 1,733 votes for Foggiano and 1,273 for Kevin Big. And that's about a 16-point margin, but that looks like it's going upward as they count the provisional ballots. And the other thing that we talked about as well is, a lot of people upset, dismayed, displeased, et cetera, about the turnout. You had just under 5,000 votes cast on November 2nd. Of course, there were 3 candidates then. And for Tuesday, you had just about 3,000. So, yeah, that's a pretty significant dip. But this is, again, not uncommon at all for December runoffs, whether we're talking Jersey City, whether we're talking Hillside, Newark, whatever. These December runoffs are definitely always very low turnout. Doesn't really matter what municipality in New Jersey you're discussing. So may it be time for ranked choice voting? That's a question that we're going to see what the legislature and the governor want to approach it. I think it's something that's at least worth exploring. We heard from the governor, I believe it was just on Wednesday, and he said that he's open to creative ways to increase turnout in December, but he didn't elaborate further. There has been a bill in the legislature where Assemblywoman Annette Chaparro is actually a co-sponsor to try to bring in ranked choice voting, but that hasn't even gotten a committee vote yet. And again, it's been a while, so it doesn't look like there's a lot of enthusiasm for this now. But as advocacy for this grows, maybe we do see a hearing sometime in the first half of 22, but it doesn't look likely in the immediate future, but certainly something we're going to keep an eye on. So moving beyond that, wanted to talk actually about something that's apolitical and a rare thing where you're seeing city and county leadership agree on a project, and you almost never see that, as several people at this event said. What I'm talking about is the Hoboken American Legion Post 107's Veterans Center. They had their groundbreaking on Tuesday. And this is a project that has had a lot of support. They did their ribbon cutting in July 2019. And they actually ended up making a very nice chunk of change at this event, $225,100 in contributions on the spot. So that's not too shabby. They have also set up a link on their website to solicit donations. Obviously, any denomination is accepted, $5, $10, $20, whatever. But they really had some great luck at this event. I think the most interesting thing is that you're getting support that goes well beyond the Mile Square City. The John Bon Jovi Soul Foundation actually chipped in $100,000, and this is something that we reported on previously. But let me just tell you about the executive director, Heather Goldfarb. She said at the event, "We're so proud to be partners of this new housing project. This will not only create a safe space for veterans to call home, but also deliver important life-saving services at the same time." We also saw $100,000 come in from Hoboken Grace Community Church. That's something that was not advertised or expected at all. And then another $25,100 came from Legion members, and the Soldler Foundation actually gave another undisclosed donation amount, but it was apparently comparable to what was given on that day. So we're going to let you take a look at that clip, and then we're going to go to one last break.
It is our honor to provide a grant to American Legion Post 107 Veterans Center of Hoboken as they expand on their mission, which is very close to the heart of the JBJ Soul Foundation. As John Bon Jovi said, JBJ Soul Foundation is dedicated to continuing our work with veterans, addressing issues of hunger, homelessness, and we are inspired by the Veterans Center of Hoboken. The center is not only expanding its housing units, but also providing critical services, including physical and mental health care and employment opportunities for these struggling veterans. This is exactly the kind of mission and positive impact that our foundation is proud to support.
When we first heard about what was happening here, and when we saw the units that currently existed and the amazing job that you've done with that, when we heard the vision of what it was that you were looking to build, we knew this wasn't a coincidence. And we wanted to be part of what was happening. And we wanted to make sure that our veterans had a home inside of our city. And so today we'd like to give you a check for $100,000. Keep doing the great work. And to all of our veterans, you are loved and appreciated.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hudson County View, live and uncut, John Arhitis. So let's talk Miles Square City, specifically the Board of Education, for a moment or two here. So as everybody probably knows by now, we are going to have a school board referendum, well, a school referendum, I guess would be a better way to put it, of $241 million in January. We heard about this presentation that was given at the planning board from the BOE on Tuesday. There was no vote or public comment, which not everyone was particularly thrilled about, but this is going to be, again, $241 million project. It's by Mount Vernon Group Architects. It would be 4 stories, 374,700 square feet, 110 car spot garage underneath the school. The first floor of the school would be elevated to comply with FEMA regulations. There's a lot more, but we're short on time. And I just very quickly wanted to tell you about this new bill from State Senator Sandra Cunningham. This is a bill where New Jersey hospitals could not face eviction without New Jersey Department of Health approval. And if you actually tried to do an eviction without getting that state approval, you could face a fine up to $1 million. Just published that maybe about a half hour before the program began. But with that, we're going to have to call it a week. We're actually calling it a year. So everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and I'll see you in 2022.